Settled by Georges. And then controlled back up.
Last minute of play.
Last minute of play. The first period.
Oh boy, look at that. I get to be a kid again. So I have a question for you. If you were to have any dream job in the world, what would it be? It doesn't matter what you get paid. Let's say you got paid anything that you wanted, or money wasn't even an option. If you could do anything with your life, what would it be? And think outside the box here. Even think of things that aren't even realistic. If you want to be an astronaut that goes to Mars, or an astronaut that goes to some planet that's not even possible to reach at this point, or say you want to be a famous actor, or I don't know, even a superhero maybe. Think outside the box. What would you be? What would you do with your life? What would you do with your time? If money wasn't an option, what would you be? I ask this because I find it's a good question to really open your mind to what you would like to do with your life in real life. I know when I'm looking for a job or I'm thinking about my career, a lot of the times what I'll do is I'll look at a job bank to see what's available instead of really sitting down and thinking about what my passions are and what I would like to do with my life. So sometimes I find it helpful to not limit myself whatsoever. Maybe the thing that you think of isn't realistic at all. Maybe it's not realistic at all, but what you could do, figure out why does that resonate with you? Why is that something you would like doing? For example, when I was a kid, I used to watch the channel YTV. It was a kids channel, and they had hosts and hostesses on YTV between every show that would introduce the show. They'd have their own little shows, their own little snippets, and they were basically hosts for the channel. And when I was a kid, I always wished that I was one of the hosts on YTV, but I never really thought it was that realistic. I also watched movies and I always wanted to be an actor in that movie. And I thought it was just something that everybody wanted. Everybody wanted to be in movies and thought movies were cool and would aspire to be in a movie. For myself, I always thought it was something that wasn't very realistic or whatever, so I didn't really take it seriously. But now that I'm older, I realize that the fact that I wanted to be a YTV host tells me something. I don't think I'd ever be a YTV host. They have one host or two hosts every 4 or 5 years. I live in New Brunswick. I don't even live in Toronto or Ottawa or wherever they put on that show or where they host that channel. So I can't see any way where I would actually be a YTV host. But at the same time, it's interesting that I wanted to be a YTV host when I was younger, and now I have made over 400 YouTube videos on my channel. I remember when I first got into making YouTube videos myself, I was actually watching just simple vloggers. Like the very first video blogger that I like to watch was a guy named Big Al, and he did Big Al Rants. So he ranted about various subjects. He liked video games, and he just talked about stuff he liked talking about. He was using a crappy video camera, like a webcam. It wasn't great quality, wasn't even super really edited that well. And he just talked about his opinions. He ranted about certain things, and that really appealed to me because I realized, hey, that's just a normal guy, just like me, talking to a camera, and he's reaching out to many different people. That's what appealed to me. When I saw TV shows when I was younger, it seemed so far out of my grasp. It seemed like something that wasn't accomplishable. Like, hey, those people on TV are famous Hollywood actors. They're a separate entity than me. Like, I always saw celebrities as like a different type of person that lived on another part of the world. I knew that they were people, but like just growing up, that mentality, like that separation of me and celebrity, like there was a big barrier there. But when I started watching YouTube, I realized, hey, these guys are entertaining people, talking about their opinions, but they're just regular people like me. So that really encouraged me to start making YouTube videos. I also have a lot of daydreams and visualizations of helping a lot of people by talking on stages in front of a lot of people. I probably get this because I watch a lot of things like Tony Robbins and TED Talks and Eben Pagan who teach and educate or speak in front of large audiences. And after watching those, I always have these happy daydream fantasies of myself talking in front of a bunch of other people. Now, do I want to go talk to millions or thousands or even hundreds of people today? Do I want to go do that? No, I'd be way too nervous. I wouldn't be comfortable in front of all of those people. But at the same time, it tells me something. These visualizations tell me something. Maybe I'm not suited to just go out and talk to a bunch of people right now, but I could talk to a lot of people through YouTube. And as a lot of you probably already know, I am a member of Toastmasters now. These visualizations led me to the realization that I would get a lot of it out of public speaking and enjoy doing that. So that's what I did. Toastmasters is a organization that gets together to work on public speaking skills. So there's usually 2 or 3 speeches at one of these meetings, and then everybody there has a separate role. So somebody might be a timer who kind of checks the timing of the meetings to make sure everything's on track. And there'd also be people counting the ums and uhs of everyone in the group, just so people are more aware of their ums and uhs, because you sound a lot more professional if you work on getting rid of those ums and uhs and even establishing more dynamic pauses in your speeches. So there's a bunch of people doing roles. There's other people that evaluate the speeches, so they give feedback on the speeches. That's the greatest. It's a very safe environment because people are there to encourage you to grow and to get better at what you are doing. So they will give you honest feedback. It's a safe place where you could speak, but get feedback and grow and learn and continue growing. So yeah, that's a question I have for you. What is your dream job, or what would you want to do with your life, or what is your fantasy of what your life would be if you had no bounds, if money wasn't an issue, if time wasn't an issue, if all of the things that are stopping you right now from doing what you want to do with your life, if that wasn't an issue at all, what would you do with your life? What would you be? What would you want to do? And what can you get from that? What do you learn from that fantasy? Because maybe, yeah, it's something completely unrealistic or something that seems out of this realm, but at the same time, you might learn something, hey, this is not something in reality or something that I could possibly do, but the idea of it makes me feel happy. Why does the idea of this visualization or this fantasy make me happy? And where could I find that feeling in something that is more realistic or something that I can find? All right, peace.